And the Giants aren't the only thing on everyone's mind this morning. It's also the commercials that are getting a lot of buzz, too. 5:30 now on a Monday. I'm Scott Friedman.
There were some you liked, some you kind of wondered, what's the deal? Good morning. I'm Deborah Ferguson. Advertisers spent $3.5 million on a 30-second message last night. And this morning the question is, did they get their money's worth? Which ones do we remember? Which ones will lead to sales? NBC5's Chris Van Horn is live now at UT Dallas in Richardson with the reviews. So, Chris, what's the call on the winners and losers?
Well, there was a lot of different trends, and that's what we're going to talk about here this morning, Deborah. Joining us is Avi Biswas, a professor of marketing here at UT Dallas. And one of those big trends was nostalgia marketing, and we have a couple of the ads we can show you here. One of them, around halftime, was Clint Eastwood. Let's go ahead and show you that.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines. Yeah. It's halftime America.
All right, Clint Eastwood was one of the bigger ads, and nostalgia marketing. We're talking about kind of reaching those baby boomers. So did they do the job with that this year?
Chris, I think they did an outstanding job. Chrysler did a great job last year with Eminem, and they actually, I think, almost did the same thing again. They were outstanding this time with Clint Eastwood's gravelly voice, his steely eyes, and he literally reached out and put his hands on the collective shoulders of the nation and gave them a pep talk, a halftime pep talk that I think Vince Lombardi would have been proud of. And, you know, his sign-off words saying that this is halftime America and our second half is about to begin, I think was one of the most evocative and one of the most inspirational commercials that we probably see during this year's Super Bowl, and it stands to be almost an instant classic like last year's Chrysler commercial and possibly win an Emmy as well.
So that was one of the big winners, but overall, baby boomers was really a target that we saw this year.
Chris, I would say that. As I was watching the commercials last night, I noticed that the baby boomers and what's known as nostalgia marketing was at its forefront. I mean, you had Jerry Seinfeld, you had Star Wars themes, you had Clint Eastwood, you had all the cartoon characters from Charlie Brown all the way to Mr. Magoo, and for Pete's sake, if you think about it, the halftime show was a 52-year-old boomer. So there was everything for the boomers to connect with.
All right, and that was one of the many different trends that we saw last night in the advertising. We'll continue to kind of talk about that a little later on this morning. Some of the other big trends and big winners from last night's Super Bowl. Reporting live in Richardson, I'm Chris Van Horn, NBC5.